Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a blue collar wine show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. I have I shouldn't say I've recently discovered this because I had Brett Isenhower over for a wine tasting event. And we had a good event. It was a long time ago and I can't figure out why I haven't had him back for one of my wine tasting events, but I haven't. Maybe sometime in the future. But anyway, Isenhower Winery is one of my favorite wineries in Washington State. As far as value is concerned, the value comes in their what they call their entry-level wines. They call it their I series wines, Isenhower wines. And I've tried a few of them in the past year, and I said, wow, these are really good wines for the money. It's funny how you forget, if you don't reintroduce these wines to yourself or try them over and over again, or when you discover that they're really good, you don't go back after them again. And so I'm going to do a review of 3 of their red wines, and I think they're great value. They're all $20, which is a really good price. And so far as I can remember, they're all really good. So we're going to get started with the Isenhower. I call them the I series. We're going to start with the 2022 Cabernet Franc, Columbia Valley. This is a family-owned winery. Brett Isenhower is the winemaker. Interesting name is Brett. Not a word you like in the wine world, but that's just a little side joke. Just saying. So this is their 2022 Cab Franc. Now their claim to fame here is that they use single vineyards. They lease an acre at a time so they can really pay attention to the fruit that is growing. They have a lot to say about the harvest and the culling of the fruit and the cutting of the grapes and how many tons per acre they want. They have a lot to say about that. And they're into hand picking and hand harvest and then separating the grapes by hand. So they put a lot of care into it. This one is actually, it's a Cab Franc, but it's 90% Cab Franc, 5% Cab, and 5% Merlot. And I noticed that they like to use Merlot a lot, which is great because Washington State Merlot just rocks the world. I mean, they say in California they use Merlot to soften the wine to give it, a more rounder, broader, baby fat type thing. Whereas in Washington they use Cab to, soften the Merlot. That's how good Merlot grows in Washington State. How well it grows, good it grows. So let's give this Cab Franc a whirl here. Pretty good color. It's very dark. Yeah, actually really dark. Hard to tell with the, yeah. I would say in the black purplish range. Now let's see what we get on the nose. Getting some currant and dark cherry notes. There's a little bit of a savory kind of a bark element coming through, which you would expect from Cab Franc. A lot of times it'll be herbaceous, vegetal. Some people don't like that. It's an acquired taste. A lot of people like Loire Valley Cab Franc because of that vegetal kind of quality. But a lot of people, that turns them off. So it's nice to get Cab Franc from Washington State. I think Washington State does excellent Cab Franc. Yeah, so it's kind of currants, a little bark, a little dark cherry action going on. Not really getting any pyrazines on the nose. Green, vegetal. Let's see what we get on the palate. Yeah, what an excellent Cab Franc. Kind of peppery, which is really cool. A lot of times in Cab Franc you'll get like a green bell pepper, which creates that pepper component. But in this particular Cab Franc, you get the fruit, you get a lot of currant and dark cherry notes with a little bit of plum coming through, which I did not get on the nose, but I get it on the palate for sure. A little bit of plum. You get kind of that background of kind of earthiness, that savoriness, maybe come from the bark tones that come through. But it's savory, fruit forward, but also very kind of peppery. I get a little bit of white and black pepper on this one, which is really cool. Yeah, maybe, no. I mean solid Cab Franc. Like if I wanted to introduce somebody to Cab Franc, I would send them here because it's very solid Cab Franc. Has that nice kind of plum, dark cherry, currant notes with a little bit of that black and white pepper. Good, there's good acidity that balances all that out, keeps it fresh in the mouth. It's certainly not a goopy, fruit-forward wine at all. Has good structure. I like it. The finish is still lingering, especially with that black and white pepper. So very good Cab Franc, and it's $20, which I think is a great price for any wine. 20 and under is what I'm looking for in a lot of cases. Of course, it's not to say I don't drink more expensive wines, and I've reviewed more expensive wines on this program. This is a blue-collar wine show. It does not mean cheap wines. It means good quality wines for the money, because blue-collar people buy expensive things if they can get the quality. So anyway, really solid wine. I like this one a lot. I'm going to go B+, A-. Nice start. Now we're on to the 2022. And by the way, these are all 22s. A great vintage in Washington State. This is our I-Series Isenhower Malbec. Again, $20. And this is 100% Malbec. There you go. Now it's interesting. I was talking to Keith Pilgrim. He is a winemaker, owner of Terra Blanca Winery, and I was talking about the alfalfa that you often get in Washington State Malbec. And he says, "You want to know why you get that kind of alfalfa? Hey, the grapes have not reached phenolic ripeness. So in order to make a really good Malbec in Washington State, you have to get the fruit ripe before you pick it. If you pick it too early, you get that kind of hay alfalfa element. Now, that's not always offensive, but that's why you get it. That was very interesting. Now, this is darker, much darker than the Cab Franc, which you would expect. Yeah, this is almost like dark purple. Deep purple, baby. Oh, deep purple action. Oh, and I did want to read, I almost forgot. He puts on here ingredients. Now, in the European Union, they're going to actually ask wineries to put ingredients. So he puts on this grapes, yeast, tartaric acid, and SO2. That's pretty cool. Now you say, well, is SO2 a bad thing? No, SO2 is actually critical in winemaking because it preserves the wines, it helps spoilage, keeps it from getting oxidized. There's a lot of good things that come from SO2. They use it for cleaning as well. That's what inspired me to wear this shirt because of the chemical, it's been used since the 15th century. Let's just say that. It's not harmful to the wine. In fact, because of SO2, you can age these wines a long time. So it's a very beneficial thing. I know a lot of people that make natural wines, kind of balk at SO2, but, it's not harmful to you. It's a preservative, basically, for the wines. Let's see what we get on those. Now you see, here we go. No alfalfa on this one. No hay. This is big on the plum. Really big on the plum. Kind of plum and boysenberry action going on here. I'm even getting a little kind of a sweetness. I hate to say it, but a little bit of brown sugar thing coming through. But don't let that put you off. That's the essence of it. It's interesting, I had a conversation with a customer. I had written notes on my wines, and he said, what makes you think I like this? There's a lot of fruit in there. I said, well, fruit notes, or in this case, like I say brown sugar, doesn't mean it's sweet. It just means you get those essence, those flavors, those aromas. It doesn't have to be sweet to get those. You might say ripe peach. Well, you know what a ripe peach smells like. Doesn't mean the wine's sweet. So just kind of capsulizing that, just, generalizing in a way that just because I say I'm getting a little of that sweet element on the back of this one doesn't mean it's going to be sweet. So let's find out. What can I say? Now, I'm not sure if I've tried this Malbec before. I know I tried the Cab Franc and I really liked it. Again, this has spicy things going on with it, which is really cool. I love spice in my wine. And I'm sure a lot of you like a little bit of spice in your wine. It really kind of gives it complexity. I like that element in a wine. This definitely has black plum and boysenberry all day on the palate. It lingers on the backside. You get a little bit of a fleshy characteristic. It reminds me a little bit of the skin of a plum and the skin of the fruit coming through, giving a little fleshy component on the back end. Good texture in the mouth, good balance, nice integration, very smooth, polished wine, but good structure. I'm even giving it a savory component on this one. I like that fleshiness on the backside of this wine. Very solid wine. Yeah, no hay, no alfalfa. They've allowed phenolic ripeness to the grapes, which is very cool. Again, I believe this is 14.3 alcohol. I looked at that because, you know, that means they've allowed it to ripen, which is not a bad thing. And no, it's not a sweet wine. In fact, this is a little more restrained than the Cab Franc as far as the fruit goes, but it's very solid wine, and I'm going to go B+, A- on that one as well. Two in a row. Now, let's go to the Cab. This is a 2022 Cabernet Sauvignon from Isenhower I Series. This is, now this is interesting, this is 78% Cab, 19% Merlot, and 2% Cab Franc. Or hopefully 3% Cab Franc, that's right, 3%, 19. So it has a lot of Merlot in it. And again, nothing wrong with that when you're talking about Washington State, because that's going to add structure and body to the wine. I thought it was interesting, I read on the back of this label, it says, enjoy this through 2037. That's a brave statement. I like that. Now there's some confidence. Okay. Cabernet Sauvignon. Color is dark, not as dark as a Malbec, kind of between the Malbec and the Cab Franc. Let's see what we get on the nose. By the way, these are all stealth enclosure screw cap, which is cool for a lot of people like that. Nothing wrong with that anymore. I'm getting definitely some savory notes on this one. I even get a little bit of a nettle action coming through. In fact, this has more pyrazines or vegetal qualities on the nose than the Cab Franc did, which is interesting. I would hedge towards currants, big time. A little bit of blackberry coming through, some cherry notes as well. And very earthy, very much so on the nose. I mean, a lot of earth, almost dirt, like forest floor. Let's see what we get on the palate. Wow, nice structure on this bad boy. That's $20. I've been promoting some of the cabs in the wine department. I have not tried this one in a long time. You can bet your money that I am going to steer people towards this $20 cab that has great structure, smooth tannins, but there's a little bit of a chalkiness to the tannins, just a little bit on the backside. You get some good currant notes, dark cherry, a little bit of blackberry coming through on this one. Again, not as spicy as the other two, but there's just a little hint of spice, like white pepper on the backside of this one. And that savory quality comes through big time. Little tobacco as well, which I really like. Now, this is kind of a baby. These two, ready to drink now. You could probably age these for 5 years, but this one is kind of a baby. I see where they're saying 2037. Definitely for 20 bucks you could store this away for at least 5 years and see how it goes. That's not a big investment to lay down a wine just to see how it turns out. And I know there's a lot of you out there. I know there are people out there that would like to try to age wine. The way you do that is you buy two of them, put one away and drink the other one. Forget about it. Put it somewhere where you're going to forget about it, in a place where it kind of stays in the 50-degree range, and then you'll be safe. And as long as it doesn't get hot, don't let it get warm, you'll be okay. Just aging wine. So try it. It's kind of fun to do. Love this cab. I'm going to go straight up A-. Good structure, polished, but yet there's nice complexity in this one. I like the tannic structure. I like the acidity. I can see all that working together to help it to age. And this is $20 wine. That's an excellent value. So I'm happy that I was able to share with you these Isenhower wines. I'm going to recommend them to all my customers that come in the store that are looking for a Cab, a Malbec, or a Cab Franc. These are good examples of those varietals. I just want to ask you this. We're coming up on August, which is the second Washington Wine Month. It's not one I really get behind as much as March. A little bit, but not as much. What is your favorite Washington winery? Is there a Washington winery you would like to see me review on this channel? Make a comment, and I'll try to do different wineries just for you. Thanks for taking a little time into our day. I appreciate your support. Please subscribe to my channel so you can see what's coming up next. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.